Hi everyone, I'm Claire Humphreys and welcome to Lesson 7 of the Thinking into Results Facilitation Training. Today we're going to talk about a really important topic, which is trampling the terror barrier. Now, this is something that we have to do each and every time we're going for something really big in our life, and which is new in our life. And this lesson was a real turning point for me, and because of that I love it. I also feel that is one of the most challenging to implement in your life. But it's so critical and it's really responsible for any huge breakthrough. Okay, so the agenda for Lesson 7's facilitation. Firstly, I'm going to introduce you to the lesson, the terror barrier. Then review the worksheet from Lesson 6. After that, we will watch the Lesson 7 video covered by Bob, cover the key points, introduce you to the worksheet for Lesson 7, and then wrap everything up. So here's a great quote we're going to start with. It's an Eleanor Roosevelt quote, and she said, "You can gain strength, courage, and confidence by every experience in which you really stop to look fear in the face. You're able to say to yourself, I have lived through the horror. I can take the next thing that comes along. You must do the thing we think we cannot do." And I absolutely love this, and I think it's so true. In order to grow, we must do the thing we think we cannot do. We have to look fear in the face and walk right through it. Otherwise, we'll just allow fear to sabotage our success, and it's really insidious. Fear sabotages success for so many people. I hit the terror barrier in a big way. It's when I decided I was going to quit my head of HR job working for a successful business, and I wanted to start my own business. I remember thinking, what? I know nothing about setting up a business. And I remember speaking to one of my mentors, Monica, and telling her that my dream was to do what she was doing in developing people and achieving, watching people achieve their goals. Monica gave me less than 12 hours to commit to my decision and secure the decision that was required. My legs were shaking. I felt physically sick. My head was all over the place. How was I ever going to make this happen? Can I really do this? Anyway, I did. I stuck to what I truly wanted, and it happened. The best decision ever, and the quickest decision I ever made about anything of real consequence too. Okay, so before we move on to Lesson 7, we're going to review the Lesson 6 worksheet. This lesson on self-image is a real important lesson, not only for our own self-image, but also for any team's image. Not only is it very important, it's also very personal. So, I actually struggled for years with my self-image, and although I appeared to be confident, I really had quite low self-esteem. But I constantly have to work on it, and by repetition, my paradigm has changed. And we know deep down we've all felt or feel that we have an issue with our self-image. But the beauty about our group is that it's a safe environment and we're all in the same boat. We're all learning from each other. So what insights did you gain about yourself as a result of the worksheet? Did you complete Lesson 6 looking at another person for clues about what you wanted to integrate into your self-image? What did you actually come up with? Did you complete the exercise of visioning your life as a movie? Did you rewrite your script? What was fun about it all? So Darcy, perhaps you could start us off on this one. What did you actually find out? Fantastic. Well done. Thank you for sharing that, Darcy. That's absolutely brilliant. All right, so remember that you cannot outperform your current self-image. That's one of the biggest points in Lesson 6. You can't outperform your self-image, but the beauty part is that you can change it. The more you prop up your self-image, the better results you're going to get. Let's not forget the importance of doing our exercises to improve self-image, such as mirror work or reading affirmations, even creating a vision board that makes us feel like we are a star in our own movie. These are all important tools They help raise awareness and change programming. Remember, thinking into results is ultimately about changing habits in order to produce different results. Good. Okay, so now we're going to move on to lesson 7, trample the terror barrier. Firstly, we're going to break out to allow you to watch Bob's lesson. And remember, we will continue to watch the lesson twice a day for repetition. And once you've watched the lesson, we're all going to come back together to discuss it a bit more in depth. So welcome back. Okay, so let's have a look at this graphic. Here we see the stick person, and you'll see the stick person at 4 different phases. The first stage is bondage. You've got an X-type idea, X being the unknown, in your conscious mind. You've got X-type ideas in the subconscious mind, and your body is taking X-type actions, and therefore getting X-type results. One of the most crucial points about being in bondage is, even though we can think whatever we want, when we're locked into this state of bondage, we only think thoughts that are in harmony with our X-type conditioning. Any ideas, we just reject them, and that truly is bondage. Then we're not growing. Okay, so what happens next? Then you have a Y idea that you're considering. It could be like me, to start your own business, for example. You're then moving into the stage of reason. Now, you can entertain any idea in your conscious mind about and reason through it and not get emotionally involved, and everything is fine. Nothing changes. But what are you getting? You're still getting X-type results because of the X-type conditioning in the subconscious mind, and therefore still taking X-type actions. Now, here is where it gets really, really interesting. This is where we start to hit the terror barrier, because we've taken this Y idea and we've moved it through the conscious mind and pressed it upon the subconscious mind, injecting feeling, and we're starting to see it as us, that it could actually happen. We see ourselves as being that new business owner. We're mixing the Y idea with the X-type conditioning in the emotional part of the personality, the subconscious, and guess what? They don't mix. We're starting to think about taking this Y-type action, which is going to lead us to the Y-type result, and it does not feel good at all. So like me, it will make you feel nauseated. You're going to feel confused. It's because of the Y idea and the X idea, they don't mix. This is where we say, okay, I'm hitting the terror barrier. I'm going to plow through it, and it's on the other side that you hit freedom. Now, does the terror barrier go away when you get through that wall? No way. You've got to keep impressing it until finally the Y idea becomes your new paradigm. It becomes your new conditioning, and then guess what? You've got to go for something even bigger, and that's what we call the process of growth. Okay, so let's go over the key points again, and at the same time, if we turn to page 101 in our participant guide, we can review them together to ensure that we all understand it. So here are a few. So anytime you're setting a goal that results in you skipping a couple of steps on the ladder of success, you will run up against the terror barrier. Whenever you go to make a serious change in your lifestyle, moving out your comfort zone, you'll run up against the terror barrier. With any change that comes under the category of a major change in your behaviour, the terror barrier will instantly and automatically stand between you and the good you desire. This is how it works. So when this happens, you have a choice. You always have a choice. You can either step back into safety and continue to experience the same results year after year, or you can be courageous and experience the growth that you've been looking for. No matter who we are or the experience that we have, we all run up against the terror barrier. We have to face that fear. It's part of the process. You know, I love that even Bob admits he hits the terror barrier, and he's been studying this for 57 years. When I hit the terror barrier now, it just tells me that I'm on the right track. It's because once you understand what's going on, you can crash right through it, and you know it's growth. You know that you're growing in a big way. I love the idea of growth. And we want to embrace the idea of continually stretching and growing. If anyone would have said to me a year ago or even less, Claire, you're going to have your own personal development business, and through thinking into results, you're not only going to transform your life, but all your clients' lives in watching them achieve their goals, I would have said, huh, are you sure that you're thinking of me? And yet, here I am. So when you get scared, you will now really understand what's causing the fear and anxiety and how to push through it. And remember, it's your existing conditioning, your existing paradigm that is fighting against the new idea or the goal that you have. Okay, so that's lesson 7. So if we look at the worksheets in our participant guide, starting on page 106, let's not forget it's the writing down that really puts us into action. Firstly, review the goals that you've established in lesson 1. Ask, is that what I really want, or am I settling? You know, very, very often we start with a goal and it's not really what we want. What we actually want is so much bigger, but we're kind of not ready to put that down. And now as we're halfway through the program in lesson 7, we really do want to look at the goal and say to ourselves, is this really what I want? And if not, then expand on it. Next, if you know that you had all the talent, ability and resources that you needed to accomplish something beyond that which you're working on, what would that goal be? Let's not think about the how, but focus on what do you really want? Because if you're in love with something and you really want it, then that's proof you can have it. You have all the talent, resources and abilities you need. You just need to become aware of it. Then list all the what ifs. What would your life be like if you accomplished the goal? That's the point when you really want to get emotionally involved with it. Really let it be part of your imagined reality. And here is where it really gets interesting. All your fears, doubts and worries are going to come up, which is great. Embrace them and write them down. Look at them objectively. Remember the exercise we talked about, perception. Write them down on a piece of paper, put them in the center of a table and look at them from different perspectives and think to yourself, what am I going to do about that? These exercises are so powerful in the worksheets and excellent for understanding and moving through the terror barrier. Remember that there's absolutely no growth unless you go through the terror barrier. The terror barrier is a preamble to increase our self-consciousness. The tools and exercises are going to help you understand and move through the terror barrier and help you isolate and work through your fears and ultimately eliminating them using your higher mental faculties, followed by intelligent and courageous action. So here's a great quote that I'm going to finish with, which I love. Abraham Maslow, who was a brilliant psychologist who famously brought about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which we love in the world of HR. You either step forward into growth or back into safety. I love that. If you did some research into why so few people develop their potential and move to progressively higher levels of achievement, you trace it always back to the same one thing, the terror barrier. The doubt, the fear, the worry that a person experiences when they step out their comfort zone causes them to retreat right back to what they perceive as safety, but it's bondage. Safety is not a great place to be. There's no growth, so there's disintegration. So we're either moving forwards to something bigger and better, or we're going in the opposite direction. Okay, so that's it for lesson 7. Wow, we have come such a long way since we started on this journey. Look at all the wins we've experienced to date, and sometimes it's just the little things that can make such a big difference. Just a slight change in attitude or a slight shift in perception can harness the quantum leap that you've been looking for. I hope that you've enjoyed this lesson. I know I have. Have a wonderful day and week, and I'll see you next in lesson 8, the power of praxis. Thank you.